Where's the camera button? Camera button. Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome to Colouring Down Under. I'm Girly Pants, and today we're just going to do a little bit of colouring in this book, if the camera will focus better. We're just going to do a little bit of colouring in here today. I'm just going to set up, but this is going to be a very short, very short stream for me today, but I just want to share some news with you, and I can't share it all, but I will share what I can. And the only reason I can't share it all with you is because I don't want to spoil surprises for other people. So I'm just trying to load this up on the tablet today. This is just going to be a little bit fun because I can't actually see the book that I'm working on because the phone's in front of me. So that's going to be all sorts of interesting. But we'll get to the story with that in a minute. So today I'm going to work in Zen Doodle Colouring, Calming Swirls, illustrated by Nicolette Corley. Hi Heather, how are you? Oh, well, see, some of the surprises for you guys and some of the surprises for somebody else. And if they happen to tune in, I don't want to ruin their surprise. So I'll share whatever I can. I'm just waiting to see how I can get the chat on the tablet, because it's going to be such a short stream that I figured I wasn't going to be bothered with setting up the computer. So this is my little book, and for whatever reason today the phone will not change into landscape. It kept asking me to film in landscape. I kept turning it around. It wouldn't work. I hit the restart button because, you know, that's what the help desk always says, isn't it? Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? So we tried that and that didn't work either. So it's a weird sort of camera shot today. But it is only a tiny little book. I mean, it's A5, so it's not even as big as my hand, really. It's only about as long as my hand. So I've actually been really tired this last week or so, and I don't know, you can't see, huh? That's a nice thing about being in portrait mode. You can't see my left hand because it's actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but yeah, my hands are very shaky at the moment. So very tiny. So not been doing a great deal in the way of colouring or mucking around, and for that reason we might just pull out a heap of browns, because this is one of the pictures that I have been working on, and I haven't worked on it for a while, but we'll pull out a heap of brown and see what we can do. So we'll just work on some of the pebbles in the background, I think, because I've been trying to make all these little pebbles here different colours. So if the camera swings around, I'm very sorry, but the power cord to it is millimetres from my chest. So it's very tiny here, and we're looking all flashed out according to the tablet. So let's see if we can't backlight off a little bit. Does that make any difference? Not really. Try again. See if that works. We've still got a big flash in the middle. Oh, I know who's doing it. Hang on. That one's doing it. Don't worry, I'll bring the light back. I'll just turn the big one off from behind. Thank you so much, Heather. Well, okay, bringing that back from behind didn't help much either. Let's try and get this light so that it's not on top of our work. Oh, man. Oh, there goes the light. Oh, the joys of technology. I'm trying to get it so that the light... Oh, there goes the camera, see? Knew that was going to happen. Trying to get the lighting so that it's not going to flash you out. And we could probably try go for some lighting up the top. Okay, well at least that's not so flashed out now. Now I'm not comfortable. Great. Leave that. Try again. Alrighty. So it's a little bit flashed out on this side here, but we'll see how we go. That's what's touching it. Alrighty. So just pop that over there out my way. And I'm just trying to get a range of different browns on these pebbles in behind. So we'll just try and pick a space here that we haven't done some pebbles and throw some colour at them while we chat. So anyways, I don't know if you recall, I did a video not so long ago about going down the rabbit hole. Well, the rabbit hole's still on its way, I think, but some things have resolved themselves, some haven't. And I had gotten to a point where I was getting quite disappointed. Oh, hi, Zargo. I was getting to a point where I was getting a little bit disappointed because I have several nephews and nieces that I haven't seen for a long time because they live all the way up at the pointy end of Australia, or at the pointy end of Queensland, and I live right down near New South Wales, basically, in comparison. So I haven't seen my nephew since he was about 7, and he turned 21 this year. So it was a long time, and a while ago he said to me, "Oh, you know, Auntie, I'm going to be down there in the next couple of months." He said, "I'd really love to come and see you while I'm there." And of course I got all excited and went, "Oh, that'd be great." And then the other week there I started to get a bit disappointed because he hasn't been, and I haven't spoken to him. And it was just like, oh man. So a little bit heartbroken about the whole thing. Anyways, Friday last week he rings me up and he says, "Hey, are you going to be home on the weekend? We're in Brisbane. So we want to come and call in on you." And I'm like, "Who's we?" Wondering who he had with him. And he didn't reply. So that was something for me to be curious about till the weekend. And he didn't say which day or time it was that he was coming. So anyways, he showed up on Saturday morning, and the we he was talking about was his fiancée. Zargo, this book is Zen Doodle Colouring, Calming Swirls, and it was illustrated by Nicolette Corley. And I just picked this up. Oh, hang on. How do I move that to get it back in shot? Maybe that way? No? Hang on. That way, probably. You're welcome. I just picked it up from, I believe I picked this one up from QBD for $5. It was either QBD or the Reject, one or the other. Wasn't anything too excitement. So anyways, my nephew shows up and he brings his wee with him, and his wee turned out to be his fiancée. So I got to meet her, and she's a lovely young girl. And then they announced that they're having a baby, that in about 8 weeks' time they're going to have their first child. So of course I'm terribly excited for them. And then I turned around and said to him, "Hey, I should slap you." Because he's just gone and made me very old. I'm now going to be a great auntie. So that's all my excitement and all I can share about that at the moment, really, because I'm sort of collaborating with somebody else to see what we can do to help them out. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So It was absolutely wonderful, Zargo. They were here for about 5 hours, and it was just such a delight. But I kept getting very confused, and like, I know I'm old and I'm adult-minded, but it got me more confused than ever. And like, I knew it was him when I was talking to him, and you could see it was him. But I haven't, like, the picture in my mind of him was this 7-year-old blonde-headed kid, and with these big moo cow eyes, and he's got big blue moo cow eyes, and he's just so sweet. But anyways, so the whole time he was here, every time I looked at him and I could hear him talking, I had to keep catching myself, because somewhere in my brain, my brain would automatically forget that this is my nephew and not my brother, because he looks like my brother and he speaks exactly like my brother. Even on the telephone, I'd have to say, which one of you have I got? So, trying to explain things, it's like, oh yeah, you remember when we lived so-and-so, and then it's like, oh man, that wasn't you, that was your father. So, yeah, it sort of made me feel very adult-minded for the afternoon, but I absolutely loved having them here. And I'm super excited about being a great auntie, even if it does make me old. So, to me, I'm officially old now. And actually, I felt so much better. I did feel so much better when I realised that my aunties would now be great aunties. Didn't make me feel quite so old. Yeah, it's scary, isn't it, Zargo? It's just like, you've got the, how do you put it? Intellectually, you know that they've grown up and that they look different now and everything. But when you actually see them and you're talking to them face to face, it's just, your brain, like, all the wiring in your brain gets crossed over and shorts out. It's just like, hang on a minute, I've got to work out who it is I'm speaking to. So, yeah, it was interesting. But I'm hoping that sort of, what do you think? Like, that sort of, short circuit in the brain actually diminishes with time, because I hope to spend a lot of time with them now that they're here. So, yeah, heaps of fun. Yeah, Zargo, you do. You just want to give them the world, don't you? And unfortunately, my budget doesn't really allow for me to give them the world. But, hey, I'm pretty resourceful, so, and I've got lots of helper people, so just trying to see what can be done in the background. So I don't want to give too much away on that, because, put it this way, you'll hear about it more next week, if everything goes to plan, and even if it doesn't go to plan, I'll tell you what we did have planned. So, we'll see how we go with that, because that's just sort of somewhere out in the ether at the moment, and it needs a little bit of work. So that was my surprise, and of course there's surprises coming for them, hopefully. But I also got you guys a surprise. How's that for something tricky? Now, I don't know if you all remember, I'm kind of betting that you will, because the stream quality here has been so busy. And no, Zargo, I will not be at DD's tonight, as much as I would love to be. I now, because the kids are having a baby in 8 weeks' time, one of the things that they actually came here to do, and they bought me this gorgeous little card. Oh, hi, Charlotte. Sorry, I just bumped the camera in. Because a lot of you do know that my first name anyway. So, how can I do this? Let's see. Hang on. So, I'll just cover up... Oh, I was trying to cover up their names. So, anyways, they sent me this beautiful little card to invite me to their baby shower. So I'm just sort of, put it out there. Everyone calls me girly pants. We've got enough Marys on the internet, so don't just forget my name. That's okay. Just call me Girly or GP. But they sent me this. They handled this beautiful card to attend their baby shower, which is going to be on this Saturday morning. So, unfortunately, Dee Dee's stream is normally takes me from 2 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock in the morning at times. So I probably will not be on those streams because I now have to work very hard to get back into a, get out of my night owl mode where I'm up all night and sleep during the day so that I can go to the baby shower on Saturday morning, because they're going to pick me up because they know I'm not well and I don't drive anymore. They're going to pick me up at about 10 o'clock in the morning. So I need to be alert for that. And as much as I'd love to be online and spend time with everybody, unfortunately, I know it sounds very selfish of me, but I would much rather be with my family and enjoying them starting out their life. So please forgive me, but no, I'm going to be pretty scarce this week, trying to get to bed early and trying to practice getting up early, which is the hard part because it's been so cold. So that's the plan, and I'm trying very hard to stick to it. It's just baby steps. At one stage I used to go to bed at 9:30 every night, and then I got thrown. My sleep pattern got thrown again, and when that happens, it normally takes me a long time to get back to it. No, that's okay, Heather. I bought you guys a present. So I'm hoping that will make up for it, and I'm hoping that will also make up for this kind of pretty poor quality stream still. Because what I did was, I remember when I bought the selfie stick, and I honestly believed that the selfie stick was going to solve a lot of problems and the selfie stick would fall over and carry on. Well, they wanted $60 for that selfie stick at the supermarket, and they did give me a good discount on it, a good deal. They brought it down to $50. So I bought that selfie stick for $50. Now, I ended up taking the selfie stick back and asking for a refund because it wasn't really fit for purpose because the silly thing kept falling over. So I got my $50 back. So that was all well and good. And then, just to top things off, the thing that I honestly thought at the time, and it's a good thing that I overthink everything, right? I overthink absolutely everything. So, anyways, at that point in time, I honestly thought that a high quality or, a better tripod would solve a lot of our streaming issues. And I was thinking about it long and hard because I was going to try to stretch to get the Archon stand, which is like $150 before shipping. So I kept thinking on this and thinking really hard about the whole situation and how we could make this somewhat better and more watchable and enjoyable for everybody. So, yes, Heather, I understand everybody needs to be patient about it. Look, I'm currently using the bendy thing again at the moment just because I really didn't have the energy to do anything major for a setup today. But I will just be using a mop handle with a bendy thing wrapped around it or a tripod taped to it from now on. And Dee Dee was very, very kind. We were chatting both in chat online and in YouTube chat sort of thing. And she was also helped me out at the start of one of her shows explaining her setup again and and how she's doing it. So, and she's just using a yardstick, and I'm like, well, I'm using a mop handle. So yeah, there's, that's what we're going to stick with. So the mop handle will be the boom arm from now on. Now, Zargo, where you're saying that you bought a cheap boom arm for your webcam, the thing is, I didn't have a webcam. Now, I still don't have a webcam, but I have purchased one. And it is on its way, because whilst thinking all of this over, the logic in my brain finally clicked into place and went, even if you had the most wacky-do stand on the planet, it's not going to get past the problems you're having with zooming in and out, the problems you're having with lag, the problems you're having with the lighting. It's not going to solve one bit of that. So you can turn yourself inside out all you like, but at the end of the day, it's not going to give you the results you want. Because what's the biggest thing you want? You want a better quality stream where you can zoom in and out without cameras jumping all over the place and spending heaps of time on it. So what I did was I went and bought a Logitech C920R camera, webcam, and hopefully that will be here early next week. So I took the $50 from the refund that I got for the, the tripod selfie stick thing, and added $50 to it and bought a camera. So hopefully by next week, once we get over the teething problems with it, you should all have a much better quality stream to watch. Oh, that's awesome, Zargo. So you'll be able to help me out with all the little pitfalls that you run into. I've already downloaded the program for it, but I couldn't install it because it asked me to plug the camera in. That's how excited I am about bringing you guys more watchable streams. Yeah, apparently though, if you go to the Logitech website, you can download the software for it, and that will let you zoom in and out and adjust your white balance and everything on the fly. So I believe. So, that's what we've got coming. So it's a little bit of a present for me and a little bit of a present for you guys, but, while it might be a toy in my house, it should hopefully make the streams more watchable for you and less problematic. I just want to be able to adjust the lighting so it's not flashing out, and zoom in and out without having to do this the whole time, because you sort of go out and in and out, and the phone doesn't like it. So hopefully that's going to solve all of those issues, and we can just get on with creating rather than having to mess around with technology all the time. Yeah, I can understand that. Zargo. They really didn't have any option for the software as far as what version you wanted. It was like, this version covers cameras, blah, 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 and blah. So if it's not the right version, I might have to do a bit of digging on the internet to find the right one. Okay, thank you very much for that, Heather. Do they cost money? Yeah, blonde question. Do they cost money? It's like, well, yeah, everything on the internet costs money, but are they expensive? Oh, awesome, Heather. That is fantastic. I hope that, I know some people's streams go missing sometimes, but I hope this one doesn't go missing, because I will actually watch that back later so I can write all that down. Yeah, $1 or $2 a month is fine, Zargo. I can handle that. It's just there's so many out there and so many types, and some of them are like, you can pay $20 a month, or you can pay $50 for, lifetime membership, and so you don't have to worry about doing it ever again. And they have all these different things, but then, yeah, it's great. You can go out and spend $50 and get it for life, but then what happens if you decide, no, this isn't doing what I want, and then you go to another program and it offers you the same deal? You could wind up spending thousands of dollars just trialing all the different programs. So, at the moment, I'm not up to editing stuff yet. I've only just learned how to swap thumbnails around. No, that's fine, Heather. As long as there's no big watermark across the screen and it does the job, I'm happy. Because the idea is to actually make it watchable. Because I'll tell you now, if I ever do a video where I bore myself, or it turns out to be a video that I simply wouldn't watch or couldn't sit through, then I won't upload it. Because if I'm not watching it, I can't expect other people to do it. So I do sit down afterwards and watch streams back or play them for, different ones that come to visit. So, yeah, if it turns out that it's something that I wouldn't watch or sit and colour along to, then I'm not going to leave it online for anybody else to have to deal with. Actually, no, Zargo, I won't. I wanted to just come in and say hello so that you didn't think I just disappeared on you, because I normally have so far tried to stream once a week. So I just wanted to come in, say hello, and give you all an update and say, hey, look, I'm still here, don't panic. Just some life stuff going on at the moment, and I'm just tired, and hopefully from next week on things will be a lot better here on our live streams. So, I thought that was some exciting news for you guys, because I can't wait to do that. And I also wanted to share that I've got a niece, great niece coming. So that was all. And I figured I'll just pull this out, because this is one of those projects that you can just keep on the side and find little bits and pieces on the picture to pick at. So that's all I do with this, is I just come back and pick at it a little bit and add some shadow. So we just put a little bit of black under here, just because that's sort of merging with the orange. Oh, that would be great, Heather. Thank you. I'm kind of hoping that I might catch the end of Home and Away, because I'm trying really hard to set some boundaries for myself, because I've found myself watching an inordinate amount of YouTube at the moment. So I've been watching absolutely everything. If you're streaming, I'm watching, either live or once it's over and done with. So, no worries, Zargo. If you want to go shopping, that's a good idea. Because, yeah, food's important. I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten yet. So, well, okay, I had a mandarin earlier today, but that's it so far. But, yeah, so I've been trying to watch everybody and make sure I leave nice comments for people and things like that. And in the meantime, I'm trying to go through the YouTube Academy. There's a place there where you can do like little classes. So I've been trying to watch those. I've been trying to watch videos on editing. You name it, I've been everywhere. Oh, Oh, Vicar of Dibley is fantastic, Heather. I've got to admit, she is wonderful. I love Dawn French. But I do like Home and Away, and I don't know. See, I tend to watch. Oh, you go back to like late 80s, early 90s. I was watching Neighbours. See, because I grew up in the country, and when I was growing up in the country, we only had the ABC television. That was it. We had one channel. And yeah, it was so funny because they eventually decided that what they were going to do was that they were going to bring us, I'm just trying to work out what colour I can put down there. They were going to bring us live TV, straight, like let us hook into a coastal station's Channel 7. I was going to put brown there, green there, and I've changed my mind already. What they were going to do was they were going to let us watch like a regional version of Channel 7. And we were all so stoked. And everybody in the town, it was just the funniest thing. Everybody, every household in the town was looking at the test pattern. Everyone's TV was on, and we're all watching the test pattern. Now, you kind of think, oh, well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. It's not every home. Well, I can tell you it was, because what happened one day, one afternoon, we're all sitting there, everybody is just sitting there in their lounge rooms, staring at the test pattern, and the next minute you can hear, it's like, you know when you've got State of Origin, and State of Origin's on, and you can hear how many houses in the street are watching State of Origin, because you can hear everybody cheer when their team wins, right? So you can hear all the commotion coming from every single house, and nobody minds because everybody's watching State of Origin. Well, it was kind of a situation like that. It was very surreal, because everybody's sitting in their house watching, quite comfy in their lounge room, just staring at a round test pattern. And then all of a sudden, the TV changed, and we're no longer looking at a round circle, like the old ABC test pattern. No, now we're looking at flowers, and you could hear the ring go out across the town. Everybody's outside going, quick, quick, the test pattern's changed. That's how excited everybody was. So everybody was so stoked that now the test pattern's changed. We've got something else to look at. So, yeah, it was just amazing. So, yes, they bought us Channel 7. So up until that point, I was watching shows like EastEnders and, Monkey Magic and The Goodies and The Young Ones. And, there's an old TV show called Sweet and Sour. It was like sort of like a Neighbours type thing. So I moved to the city, late 80s, early 90s. And eventually I discovered Neighbours. And I loved Neighbours so much. And I was living with my grandparents, and my grandparents weren't fans of Neighbours. They wanted to watch things like A Current Affair and 60 Minutes. So, yeah, the young ones were great. I actually have copies of them here somewhere. But if you ever want to watch something akin to the young ones, go and watch the Flat Earthers having a debate. It's just like watching Neil and Rick have an argument all over again. It's just really fun. And the sad thing is, though, that these people are dead serious. So, but yeah, lots of fun. It's a nice way to amuse yourself in the afternoon and remember the old days. But anyways, yeah. So I loved watching Neighbours when I was young, but my grandfather was like, "Not in my house, you're not." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And Nan would occasionally relent and let me watch. So I ran out and I bought a portable TV. And it was this thing, and it was, it only had a tiny little screen on the front of it, and it was this huge long brick. It was longer than a house brick, and he put all these batteries in the back end of it. And I'll tell you about my adventures with that one day, because it nearly killed me the day I set it up. I bought it. Oh, I'll tell you now, that's okay. I bought this little TV, and I bought it, I can't even tell you which store I bought it from now. And if I were to take a guess, I'd probably be wrong, and it wouldn't be fair to the store involved. So, anyways, I bought this little battery-operated TV, and you could plug it into the mains. And, of course, it was all in black and white. And, so for anyone that's still in their 20s, this is how we used to do it years ago. So I bought this little TV, and this was back when Game Boy was first released in Australia, because I also bought myself a Game Boy. But from the same shop. So I bought this little TV, and I came home with it on the bus, and I was so stoked that I'd have a little TV, and I had a place in my mind all set up where I was going to set this TV up, which happened to be a little 3-tiered wrought iron stand in the corner of my bedroom. And it was only tiny, and I could already imagine in my mind, like I could foresee that I was going to crouch down on the floor and hold the stand with my left hand while I set the whole thing up with my right hand. So I get it home, and of course Granddad says to me, no, show us that thing, give us a look at that. What's that like? Set it up out here so I can see. So thankfully he did, because I plugged it into the wall near the kitchen table, and as I was putting it down on the kitchen table, it gave me an electric shock. And I was like, oh no, it bit me. And Poppy just says, oh, you must have had your hand in the wrong spot. And I'm still thinking, like, shouldn't be getting an electrical shock off it, but all right. If you say so, Poppy, I just won't put my hand underneath the thing anymore when I hold it. Not realising just how dangerous the whole thing was. So, I turned it on. I sat it on the table, I turned it on, the whole thing went bang. And it was like this little plume of smoke. And I cried. I cried. Turning it on just fried the whole internal part of it. I was so disappointed. And I took it back to the store, and what they had done was they put, in the store at the time, they had their own like power circuitry sort of thing going on. And what they had done was they'd taken all the big AC adapter plugs off of their equipment, and they just had like a DC, 12-volt DC system running through the store. And they were taking a normal 3-pronged cord and plugging it into their DC system. So when I came home and plugged it into the AC system at 240 volts, I fried the device and nearly killed myself. So had I have set it up on the wrought iron stand like I intended to, I probably wouldn't be here. So they apologised, of course, and gave it back. Hey, Debs, how are you? So, yeah, they apologised and replaced it. So then I got to come home and set it up so I could watch my neighbours of an evening. But now that I'm older, I do get quite funny. If the TV starts telling me that you have to be there to watch Neighbours, or you have to be there to watch Home and Away, once it starts doing that, I stop watching. And that's the last time that happened. I haven't turned Neighbours back on since. I was like, oh, I'd still like to watch Home and Away, but maybe Neighbours can go by the by for a while. So I think that is an absolutely lovely idea. I really do. I think not having one national day of no television a week would have been an absolutely wonderful idea. I wonder if we can convince the government to turn our Wi-Fi off one day a week. No television, no Wi-Fi, one day a week. All on the same day, of course. Because that is a great idea. So anyways, when it comes to the YouTube-y thing at the moment, because I'm an all or nothing kind of person and I like to do my best at all times if I can help it. So I'm trying to sort of pay more attention to what everyone's doing and how they're doing it and how do you make these things look as nice as they do. So I've been trying to keep up with everybody and I'm failing at that because I realise that that's just not possible to keep up with everybody in the world all at the same time. But I'm giving it a go, but at the end of the day, not that my days are very long because to be honest, most days I've been getting up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So most of the time what I'm trying to do is sort of go, well, come time for the news, because there's only about 3 programs in the whole world right now that I really, really desperately want to watch. And that's, I want to watch the news of an evening, and I want to see, if nothing else, I want to at least see the highlights for the day, and I want to see the weather report. So that I know what's going to happen tomorrow or later in the week and whatnot. Even if I'm not going out, I still want to know. So, the news, then I want to watch Home and Away, and then I want to watch House Rules. So that's my top 3 list. And they're the only 3 shows that at the moment that are on live TV that I care about. No, that's fine. That's no worry at all, darling. So, yeah, my rule is now for myself that you have to still maintain some sort of life offline where you've got to have a break, give yourself some downtime. It's okay to have downtime. Go and watch your news and your Home and Aways and your House Rules. And then if you still feel up to doing something, then go back and keep watching streams or how-to videos and get yourself an education. So, because you can't do the same thing all day, every day. Got to have a way of somehow of breaking it up into bits and pieces. So I finally worked out how to change thumbnails for my video. So I've tidied that up a little bit. And Deb's next week, we're going to be getting a new camera in. So that will hopefully free things up, and then I'll be able to see exactly what's happening on the laptop screen while we're filming, instead of doing it on the phone where the phone's way above my head and I have to sit and wait for lag to go away so that I can see what's going on out there. Yeah, I can't wait, Debs. It's going to be good. And the other bit of good news is that I'm going to be a great auntie in about 8 weeks' time, all going to plan. So I'm super stoked about that as well. Where is my favourite colour in the planet for these? Let's be one of these. Tuscan red, that's what I want. So, yeah, all sorts of weird and wonderfuls going on here. And Foxtel finally came out to install the Foxtel for me. And then I'm sort of thinking, well, is that really worthwhile now? Because you're hardly watching any television at all at the moment. And then the guy got here and decides that he can't install it. Can't be done. You've either got to go through Body Corporate again and get permission now to get a satellite, or you've got to, like a satellite dish, or you're going to have to wait until the NBN comes here. Oh, that's awesome, Deb. I'll have to wait to tell you the exciting news regarding, things that are going on in the background for that later, for the Tiddlywink, just in case my nephew and his fiance decide to watch my streams, because I don't want to spoil any surprises that might be in store. Oh, hi Mandy, nice to meet you. The only reason I was looking at getting Foxtel in the first place was because I lost all television reception mid-April this year. And I was having to stream everything online in order to watch the few shows that I want to watch. And what was happening was Channel 7's app on the laptop was having all sorts of little issues where it would be playing just fine, and then they would go to commercial, and then they would come back, and when it would come back, all of a sudden the laptop would freeze up. And so it's like, we'll be right back with the weather right after this break, sort of thing. And you'd come back and you'd have a loading screen, and by the time it'd finish unloading, it's like, well, thanks for joining us, we'll see you tomorrow night. And it's like, oh no, I've missed the weather again. So, and especially when you're watching something like, House Rules, and they're trying to tell you about, who just won the competition, or who won, got what points that day, and it cuts to an ad break, you come back, you don't get to see what the result was, and it's like, oh no. So, all sorts of fun. So, yeah, decided to try and get Foxtel just because they had that really good special for $26 a month, with no lock-in contract, and it was a way of getting my free-to-air television fixed, because at the time there was an argument between my landlord, the real estate, and the Body Corporate as to whose responsibility it was to repair the antenna. So I was just getting tired of waiting for them to come to a solution. So I just went, fine, if I get the cheap Foxtel deal, then we don't have to worry about the antenna anymore, because it was supposed to be a cable hookup. Hi, Tina. Oh, thank you. It's just one page. I'm just picking on it, slowly as you go, sort of thing. This is not the most efficient way to use your Prismacolors. This is the way to make it quite costly, because I'm literally just grinding all the colours into the paper. But it does come out with a really good result at the end. But you will go through a pencil really quickly using it this way. Yeah, Mandy, I could do the satellite, but the problem is if I go satellite, you don't get free-to-air television with that. You only get free-to-air television with cable, I believe. So, now that they're telling me I have to wait till the NBN, well, I won't get the NBN here until next year, so I guess I can still watch Foxtel for free online until next year if I want to hang on to the deal, or I can just cancel. So I'm tempted to actually just hang on to Foxtel for free to watch online until it gets a little bit closer to the date, because having TV that you could stream to your mobile phone is always very handy. And if it's not costing you anything, then it's probably worth it. because I'm not well, and there are times where I have to go to hospitals or hospital appointments and stuff, and knowing that you could still sit there and watch some sort of television of your own choosing, then that's okay. So yeah, that's about as exciting as it's been. So hopefully next week we will have better camera equipment. I'll be able to tell you all about the baby shower and how that goes. But I am super duper excited about everything at the moment. Now I need a colour to put on there. What sort of colours have we got? We've got reds and we've got yellows. So maybe something like that. I just want a little bit of colour. You know, I can see the black line on there, and it's not even black, but I can see the line. I'm just trying to work out how to get it onto the page. It was just one space too far out. So I want that dark line. I also want a darker line here. If I don't start to hit these little tiny pieces as I go, I'll forget them. And I want my Tuscan red again, because that's a little bit too brown. I'll put a little Tuscan red under there. So I just want to make it look like that's standing up off the paper a little bit. And then maybe just a normal red. But yeah, this is one of my favourite ways of using my Prismas, but I try not to do it very often because as much as I love the effect, you can get something similar, not quite as much depth, but you can get something similar using like blending techniques to mash it into the paper. But this is all just straight Prisma mashed paper. Yeah, that's all good, Mandy. I'm not too stressed about it. As I said, I've never really been a big TV person. It's been probably 20 years. It's probably been about 25 years since I bothered having Foxtel around. So, and even then it was, I only want things like the entertainment pack or the Boomerang or just any with little half-hour shows, because I can handle sitting down and watching something for about half an hour, and that's just long enough to eat lunch or, you know, have your afternoon tea or, you know, have a quick break in between doing different things. And then after that I get tired. So I'll see if I can get that on the page. There you go. It's Zen Doodle Colouring, Calming Swirls. It says stress relieving designs to colour and display. And this one is illustrated by Nicolette Corley. So we can probably come over just a fraction more so you can see the name there. Oh, Mandy, you should come to my place. I've got all the old cartoons. I've got Magilla, Gorilla, Yankee Doodle, the Jetsons, the Flintstones. I've even got Hong Kong Phooey, which I absolutely loved. Josie and the Pussycats, the Smurfs. Yeah, I've spent years collecting cartoons. I absolutely adore cartoons. And these days I actually adore animated movies, you know, nice animated movies. So, like Moana, I can just sit and watch Moana all day, quite happily, even without the sound on, just because it's such a pretty movie. So, yeah, I just enjoy looking at it because I look at it from an artistic point of view rather than a kiddie's point of view. But don't get me wrong, I still love the storylines. Roadrunner. Oh, Roadrunner is awesome. I have to agree. I can still remember we went on holidays to Caloundra and they had a Roadrunner marathon one weekend and we spent the whole time just watching Roadrunner. It was great. I know that sounds silly because we're only like 2 blocks off the beach, but Roadrunner was awesome. If you could just give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Somebody is annoying me because they want to go outside. Come on, let's go. Come on. Yeah, you either want my attention or you want to go outside. Pick which one. Thank you. Make sure the seat's underneath you. Right. Yep, sorry about that. The dog's been trying to get my attention and get my attention. And so I'm figuring if he doesn't want me, then he clearly wants to go outside. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit quiet this week, not looking at doing too much today. Oh, and this book, just so that you know, once you break the spine, the pages start falling out. So far this is the only page that's fallen out, but I think the page I'm working on is getting close to falling out too. Oh, way cool, Mandy. That's probably within an hour of my house. I can never quite work out Movie World. I've been to Movie World twice. And they were several years apart when we visited, and they had exactly the same shows on both times, and we just sort of all looked at each other and went, well, been here, done that. It's probably not worth going again. But the last time I went, they had just started introducing rides to the park. So that made life more interesting. And I believe they've got a lot more there now, and they've changed some of the shows now too, so it's definitely worth visiting. Oh, Mandy, you're going to have a ball. Absolute ball. And it's a good time of year to go too, because it's not going to be stinking hot. But it won't be cool either, so it'll just sort of be a very comfortable time of year to go visiting places. Actually, I just put all those yellows and stuff away. But oh, that's awesome, Mandy. It was one of, yeah, for me, it was one of those places that, yeah, twice was enough. But the kids will love it. And as I said, it's all changed now. So if you haven't been since you were 9, you will find that there's all these rides there and everything now. So it's going to be a ball. Absolute ball. The only thing we were disappointed with Movie World between both visits was that the shows hadn't really changed at all. So, but I think that, as far as I know, they've changed them all now. They've got some new shows there for people to enjoy. The Police Academy show was really good, don't get me wrong, but doing it twice was just a bit much. Oh, and I got some news too. This was the annoying news. It was kind of funny, but not, if that makes sense. In my Down the Rabbit Hole story that I told not so long ago, one of the things in my Down the Rabbit Hole saga was that my Kindle had bricked itself. And it's still bricked. It's sitting back here somewhere. So, It's my Kindle. It's a pretty little case, and now it's upside down and back to front. That's right. So my Kindle is permanently stuck on this screen because it couldn't find the Wi-Fi network. And it was working just perfectly fine. I was reading a book. I just wanted to read the same book that I was reading on my mobile. And the only problem with the Kindle was that it couldn't see the network. Like, it couldn't connect to Wi-Fi. And I happened to have it here right beside the modem. And I went, oh, thank you, Mandy. So I thought, well, while I'm sitting here right beside the modem, surely now it'll be able to find the network. Still couldn't find network. So next problem was, okay, let's reboot the router. Because that makes sense, doesn't it? So even though it couldn't find any single network, and there's probably about 15 of them around here, we'll reboot the router and see if that helps. Still couldn't find the network. So you start pulling your hair out then, and you go, well, what else can you do? So you go to Amazon Help. So I went to Amazon Help, and their advice was that most problems can be resolved by simply restarting your device. Hold the power button down for so many seconds, and a little box will appear on the screen that says, would you like to restart or shut down? And so, okay, this seems very reasonable. All right, ta-da, Zago. Have fun. Enjoy your shopping. I hope you find something yummy to eat. Have a lovely night, darling. I'll see you next week. So, anyway, so the suggestion from Kindle itself was, try restarting your device. So as soon as I hit restart, because I'd been reading it up until that point and it was fine, and as soon as I hit restart, it went into that boot loop where it just says, please wait while your Kindle restarts, and it won't come out of it. I've tried holding the button down on the bottom of the thing for 40 seconds. I've tried holding it down for longer than 40 seconds. I've tried plugging it into the computer, and the computer just sits there and goes ding, 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 because it's constantly going, oh, new device. Oh, no, there's not. Oh, new device. Oh, no, there's not. So in the end, you decide that you wonder if your computer's ever going to stop dinging at you because the thing's trying to reboot that quickly. So out of pure frustration the other day, I actually got on the phone and I rang Amazon. Yeah, not too happy, Jan. Amazon's best advice was, oh, we're so sorry to hear that. What we can do for you is we can give you a 10% discount on a brand new device. And I was like, well, but hang on. How do I fix this device? I'm not interested in buying a new device. I just want to use my own device. Oh, well, hang on, let me see. I'll just ask my manager. So they come back and it's like, oh, well, we can give you, I've spoken to my manager, we can give you a 20% discount on a brand new Kindle. And I'm like, okay, once again, how do I fix my current Kindle? Have you got service and repairs or something? There's got to be something we can do. And, I don't know, hang on. No, there's nothing we can do, but hang on, let me speak to my manager. Okay, we can give you a 30% discount on a new Kindle. And I'm thinking, I'm not particularly fond of Amazon at the moment. They're in my bad books because of the way they've been treating Australians and the choices they've made. But I'm thinking, okay, well, Prime's got a really good deal at the moment because it was Prime Day. So Prime's got a really good deal going at the moment. And I said to him, does that even apply on Prime Day? And then he's like, No, you can't use it with Prime Day. So you can either use buy on special through Prime Day, or you can use the 30% discount I'm offering you. And I'm like, so what you're telling me basically is that if I were to replace my Kindle right now, today, essentially you're just going to give me a price that's $3.50 better than the Prime deal. Yay. So, yeah, was not really happy. So, at the moment, I've decided I'm just going to stick with the phone and the tablet and the computer to read my Kindle books. I just really miss having them all sorted into folders. So I'm just going to have to suck it up and learn to live with it. You know what? I don't think I've got another rock this colour anywhere on my page. Oops. Might have to see if we can dull it down with something. We might dull that down with something. Yep, Heather, it does. I am not very happy at all. And it's not just Amazon, though, really. I mean, they're copping the brunt of it because they're the well-known ones. But, you know, like, as I said, you know, in previous videos, I'm a vapor. And a lot of vape stores and stuff are all small boutique stores, and it's going to be a lot of expense for them considering the handful of customers that they've really got in Australia, because it's not, vaping here is not like it is in the UK where it's freely available and everybody vapes. Over here it's still sort of frowned upon, and you know, there's been big scare campaigns to make people try to make people believe that it's every bit as bad as smoking, and that, I mean, they used to tell people that it was poisonous. Oh, me too, Mandy. There's just so many things I can think of. Like, a lot of this stuff that we use for vaping and is basically all goes back to like all the torch enthusiasts. So everyone that's like a flashlight enthusiast, and you buy all these little things from small shops overseas to put together to make your torch or whatever. So, you know, a lot of those people are going to be affected. I've got a friend who imports stuff from China to sell on the internet, like on eBay. And he's got his own little store, and he might just want to pick up, you know, a handful of something so that, you know, from other places, just to add some interest to his store. And he's not going to be able to do that anymore. Oh, that's good, Heather. I don't have that many because I got stuck in the $5 on sale loop for the last couple of years. So I sort of left mainstream buy it while it's hot type shopping to, oh, let's stock up on all these older books before they disappear. So I'm well and truly behind in the buying up process. But what I found lately is I do like these little A5 type books because they still take a whole whack of effort. Like I'd spent, I don't know, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks on this page already. And that's when I was colouring in all day, every day. So, yeah, it's just, at least with a page this size, you get to see the light at the end of the tunnel long before you would with a bigger page. But I just sit and pick at it. So it's one of those things that if you've got 5 seconds and you're watching the telly or whatever, and you can go, oh yeah, I'll just grab that and do a little bit on that. I need to earth that a little bit more. What's nice and earthy? What is this one? This one might help. Okay, Heather, I'm trying to think. There was somebody that said that, and I can't think who it was now. It might have been you. I went looking for the streams, because I thought it was you that said it, but I did actually go and have a look, and I couldn't find the stream. So if you can give me some idea of the title of that stream, I would love to go and watch it, darling. Because Heather, did you do the work with like the what was it now? Paint dripping stuff? Where all the colours like sort of all merged together and it was like, whoa. And you had it like on a Lazy Susan. And like the dipping stuff. Was that you or was that somebody else? Because I found all of those videos, but I didn't actually find one on all the websites. Okay, I'll have a look in the miscellaneous and chats then, darling. Because yeah, I did go hunting and I couldn't see it at the time. And then I get distracted as I go too. Apparently, we're still trying to get my attention down here. Okay, yeah, it looked awesome, absolutely awesome. I actually did sit and watch the streams on that, and really enjoyed them. And they probably suit my style of painting, because I love paint, but paint doesn't like me. So I start out trying to paint, and then it becomes, you know, folding the paper in half and making butterflies, and then it becomes finger painting, and yeah, shortly after that, it all goes into the bin. Mandy, I've got so many pages on the go, it's not funny. So I sort of tossed up between which book I should pick on today. And I thought, well, I've not shown this one, and this does take quite a bit of work to get the layers and the depth that you want. And you've got an awful lot of pencil on the page. And it also makes me wonder, when people are saying, you know, I don't mean to be terrible, but when people are saying, oh, there's so much wax on this paper now that you can't get anything else down, you know, you couldn't squeeze another layer onto it. A lot of it I sort of sit there and go, oh, bollocks, you know, like seriously, it can't be done. He's very cute, but he doesn't like the fact that I'm facing the wrong way in the room and that my lap is no longer accessible to him, because, you know, he doesn't care if I'm facing the other way in the room because my lap's accessible to him whether he wants to sit on it or not. But when I'm busy sitting at a table or a desk, he's not a happy boy. So I've just got to watch that he doesn't throw temper tantrums either, because he's just as likely to go and pee on something just to annoy me. So, but yeah, a lot of people say, you know, oh, you can't get any more layers down. And I can tell you pretty much for sure and for certain that I get this paper so full of wax that you can't see any more paper. There's no more tooth left in the paper. But because Prismacolors are so thick and sticky, you can actually knock a little bit of colour off your pencil into the existing wax. It just takes work. And I had a lot of fun with this page too. Yes, Henry, what are you doing? Where's the bunny, Fufu? Go get Bunny for me. Go get Bunny. Where's Bunny? No, where's the bunny? Find the bunny. All of this shading up in here was actually done with the complementary colour. So I was sort of looking at the greens, and even in the reds, I used green to do the shading. And I know everybody says it, and Peter Hewitt's been saying it for years, but it never really worked for me, and this time it did. That's all right, Debs. You gotta. It's not so much what you're using at the time, I don't think. I think it's, did you have fun while you were doing it? I mean, with a lot of things art related, I know that the quality of the goods helps. It really makes a difference. But, when it comes to picking colours and things like that, it's just go with your gut, or just pick the range of colours you want to use, regardless of what brand they are. Just pick something and run with it. But anyways, girls, I'm going to hop off. There's like 7 minutes left to Home and Away. So I'm going to watch that. I even watched the 30-year special that was on last night, so I really enjoyed that well. But I hope to be back next week, and I'm not going to be doing any more streams between now and next week that I'm aware of until we get the new camera in. Once we get the new camera in, then we can get that set up, and hopefully it'll be fantastic. Or it'll certainly be a sight better than this. So that was all the exciting news I had for you. You're welcome. No worries at all, Deb. No, I don't have Instagram, Mandy. At the moment, I've got YouTube. I do have a personal Facebook page, and I have built a Facebook page for this account. But then after building it, then I was just like, well, you built it, it looks fine, but now what do you do with it? So it's been pulled down and sitting in limbo, because I'm not quite sure what you do with it. But it's there if we need it. So you girls all take care, and don't worry, Mandy, this is only new. I've only been here for a few weeks, so I don't know, about 5 or 6 weeks or something since I've started streaming. So the channel will grow. I'm positive of that. It will definitely grow, and there will be all sorts on here for you to see, and we can, if we have to add Instagram, we can do that, but all these things can be done in a gradual fashion. They don't have to be thrown in straight away. So we'll just wait and see how we go. Oh, that sounds great. Thank you, Heather. I had bookmarked that. But, Heather, could I have the link for that again, please? Because my computer the other day, or the other week there, was playing up, and what I did was I reset it, because what it's done is it's the sound for the TV, because I've got two identical TVs, or almost identical TVs, and they're the same brand and everything, but it stopped recognising the bottom TV as a... I can fix that, Heather. I think I can fix that. Let me see if I can fix it. I can't fix it up here. Hang on. I'll see if... I can't see chat on my phone. Alright, well, we'll have to do it. Show. Did that work? Because I went show. Chat publicly as colouring down under. Yes. I tried to hit show. I hope it comes up in the background later. But If not, Heather, I might have to get it off you again next time, once we've got the camera set up, because then it'll be on the computer. And then I can make you a mod. Because I can't figure out how to make you a mod from here. But I would like to. So, yeah, in order to get sound on the bottom TV, I decided to, in order to get sound on the TV, what I did was I rewound the computer to, like, said, you know, go back and do a restart from here, like a restore point. That's what it was. I went to an older restore point. And when it came back, I'd lost all of my bookmarks for Firefox. So I had backups for that, but when I used the backup for it, it returned me back to the bookmarks from about May, somewhere near the start of May. So I didn't have any of my newer bookmarks, so I'm slowly trying to put them all back together as I find them. Is that dust on my page? Yes. Okay. Is that page down there? Yeah. Alrighty. I have just simply decided right now that I want to try and add a little bit more olive green on there, and you honestly cannot see tooth to the paper in there. There's just, it's full. But I think I want to try and add just a little bit more olive green over the top. And you won't get a lot of colour in there, but you will get a little bit. Oh, thank you so much, Deb. That is lovely. Thank you. I will go to that on the computer later and I will bookmark it. So, and I'll add it back to my ColourTube bookmarks. See, now there was no tooth left on that paper. And this is, granted, this is like an olive green, so it's a little bit darker than what's down there. But you can still get a little bit of colour blending in on the top of it. So anyways, thank you so much for that, Debbie. I will definitely do that, Heather, because I did have it bookmarked, and it was one of the bookmarks that I was upset about losing. So I'm trying to bookmark YouTube channels and Etsy shops and different vendors, whether they be art stores. So no, that's great. Thank you so much for that. So looking forward to next week when we get the camera, because that's going to be a bit of fun setting that up, and we'll go from there and see how we go. And seeing as my nephew is down in Brisbane, what I might ask him to do, even maybe on Saturday when he drops me home, is I might try to get him to put a desk behind my kitchen table. So between the kitchen table and the wall, put a desk back there so that the camera can be mounted on its own table. Because I've got a tiny, skinny little, like, telephone table that could do the job. So we'll give that a go. But yeah, just looking at ways of moving the camera off the table so it's not going to affect it so much. Oh, there you go, Heather. Is there anybody else on here streaming, or you know, anyone else who has a channel that they're posting videos on? Because if you have, you need to give us a clue how to find you, or just say yes so people can follow by using the 3 dots on the side of the screen. Oh, that'd be great, Heather. I can probably show you mine. It's there's a light on up there at the moment, which is annoying, but we can take the phone out of the mount if I can do it this time without dropping it. Alrighty. Look up this way. See, I've got I've got a mop handle up there. It's actually a Veleda mop handle. The Veleda mop handle was years old and it finally decided to break in half. So it's half a Veleda mop handle. And this, what do you call it? This bendy arm here is very bouncy and it's round. But you can literally bend it any which way you like. But it's really hard to bend. But then it's not strong enough not to be bouncy. This one up here is much weaker than the round one. And it's actually, if I can bend it down at all, you can actually see it's like a flat strap, like a flat strap of licorice. So you can actually wind it around very tight on the Veleda mop head, like on the mop handle. So I just spiraled that all the way around the mop handle. And then if I take my girl down for a minute, I can show you what's in the background. Right, so let's turn some lights on so that we can see what we're doing, because we're not colouring in now. So up here I've got a collector's tin of Weet-Bix with a couple of headbands, just springy headbands, and inside the tin I've got 2 bags of Coles Savings brand rice to give it some weight. And then in the back corner, if we can swing that light around for a minute, up in here on this side there's just a grocery bag with a tin of sliced peaches. And on this side, if we move the light around, there's another tin of sliced peaches in the grocery bag. And that's just hooked, literally just tied together and thrown over the top to give it some extra weight and stability. So that's about as exciting as my setup is. So now it's saying rotate device. Oh, Weet-Bix. Yeah, no, in my house it's just Weet-Bix. So that's how I've got my setup. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, I mean, I had the only difference between now and when I had the selfie stick up the top there like that, set up that way, is that instead of having the selfie stick, I've now just got a mop handle. So, yeah, that works. And I did buy a tripod when I bought the camera. But it was just a really cheap tripod. It's telescopic. It was $13.50 on eBay. And it does sort of open in like a triangular type fashion. So the legs get wider the taller you make it. But it comes with a phone mount and it's got the camera bolt as well. And I figure that that's going to work no matter what I do, because it lets the camera tilt all the way forward so that it's looking down at the scene. So what I'm going to do with it, I'll probably try it in its extended mode just to see what that's like. And then Dee Dee warned me that even a small cat will knock something like that over. And of course, Henry on the floor down here, he's likely to knock it over. So what we'll probably do is just sticky tape it onto the mop handle. So, or just leave it folded down but extend the legs right out and put it up there instead of the mop handle, because then it'll be a bit lighter than the mop. So, yeah, we'll find a way to do it. But, yeah, the mounting it overhead thing is... The only problem for me is that my house is really, really tiny. My whole lounge room, kitchen, combined sort of thing, lounge, kitchen, dining combined is only 4 metres by 4.5 metres. So at the moment my kitchen table is butted up tight against the wall. So I just want to get it off of the table, because every time the table moved, the camera was moving independently of the table. Oh, that is fantastic, Heather. That is brilliant. I even thought about bringing in a clothing rack. Somewhere in the garage I've got an old clothing area that you can hang coat hangers on when you do the ironing. I was thinking, I might be able to rig that up so it hangs out over the table. But the Weet-Bix tin seems to work. I've got it sitting on top of a shower chair. When I needed a new shower chair, I bought two. I bought this one. Well, I bought three in total. I got three in total. But I got one that was like a swingy bucket style seat to it. And it worked out to be far too big for the shower. Hey, Robin. How are you, darling? So, yeah, the first shower chair had to go back because it wasn't... there was no room left for my legs in the shower. And then this was the second chair. And I don't know if you can see under here. But up under here, there's a bolt in the middle. This bolt just doesn't do up, unfortunately. And you kind of need that bolt to do up so that the legs stay secure. But because we can't do the bolt up, there's a problem with there was no threading on the other side of where you put the bolt or the screw. So I complained to the people I bought it from on eBay and they sent me out another chair. So I have another shower chair, exactly like in the shower. But this one could be repaired, but I'd have to get like a mechanic or somebody with tools that could drill a hole out enough to get a nut and a screw in there. The cat woke you up. Oh, that's no good. Oh, that's wonderful, Heather. I was looking at the Archon stand. Yeah, that was like the deluxe model of stands. That's it's just got a small footprint. There's a little square on the table, and then it's got a nice big boom that comes off of it. That's a good idea too, Heather. Dee Dee was telling me the other day she uses a yardstick. So I'm assuming that that's like our old blackboard ruler. And she uses a yardstick. She's got the camera sticky tape to it. And she's just got heavy stuffs in her bookshelf sitting on top of the yardstick to hold it in place. And she said she's been using it for years. It's not been a problem. And she can still like zoom in and out with the software for the camera. So I'm hoping that that's we're going to be able to, accomplish something close to that with the new setup. The only reason I want to get the camera off the table is because every time I bump the table, or I bump the camera, hang on, let me put this back in a mount. And if I can do it without turning the phone off, that's always the tricky bit. Right. Okay. Now the whole thing will just sink. Right. I wouldn't care, because the problem we've got with the camera being mounted on the table itself is that when the camera and the book move, they're moving like this, independent of one another. So what I don't mind it being mounted on the table, provided that the two move together so that it doesn't affect the stream. Yep, that's exactly right, Heather. That's why Dee Dee said just take the camera off the table, put it in the pole in a bookcase and dump some heavy stuff on top of it, and bingo bango, you're all set to go. If you want on your next stream, let me know what channels you lost. Oh, I've got them. Oh, I see what you mean now, Debs. Yep, that's all right. I'm still thinking TV channels. That's okay. I used to be blonde. I can't honestly remember, but they do pop up from time to time. Welcome back, Sargo. I was going to just do a short chat and whatnot and jump off. Best laid plans and all that. But it is getting to that time where I need a hot drink. It's cold in here. And my dog has not realised that he could have been spending this whole time sitting on my chair, which he loves. The masses have been fed. What did you have for dinner, Zargo? We don't... It's not many Australians that do supper anymore, Zargo. I used to love the idea of having supper. Oh, it's lunchtime. Oh, okay. I can remember when I was young, I think it was a camp or something that I went to, and they had, you had breakfast, then you had morning tea, then you had lunch, then you had afternoon tea, then you had dinner, and then late at night you had supper. So, yeah, I kind of miss the idea of having supper. So far today I've had 1 cup of hot Milo and a small mandarin. So, and it's already 8:15 at night. Oh, cool, Heather. No, definitely not in Hobbit camp. No, I went to I got to go to a camp in a place called Talabudra. So it was right on the beach. And it was just a camp for a week. So I got to come down from come in from the outback to go to the camp on the beach for a week, which is always cool. So, because at the outback, the closest thing you've got to water is either a bore or a dam, or maybe if you're lucky, a weir. So, yeah, got to come down to the campsite at Talabudra. It's been there for years and years, and it's still there today as far as I know. And one side's got the surf beach, and the other side's got like a quiet little inlet that you can swim in. So it's a good place to go fishing as well. There's a nice mountain thing beside it that you can go up, which of course I got about halfway up that thing, then looked down and then went, oh my God, and started hanging on to the rock wall and wouldn't let go for anyone. And they were trying to convince me that it's okay, and I'm like, no, we're going to fall, look how high we are. So, yeah, my fear of heights sort of kicked in, and I was just latched onto the side of this mountain going, no, I can't move. Yeah, I used to do stupid things like that all the time when I was a kid, you know, like I'd climb to the, because I didn't mind climbing things, that was fine, I loved climbing. And, you know, like I'd climb up the mango tree and then jump out of the mango tree onto the roof. And that'd be great, and I'd hang around on the roof and I'd be all good with that. And then you can sort of get near the edge of the roof and you look down and it's like a big drop, and it's like all of a sudden I'm stuck and I can't get off the roof because I'm too petrified to move. Yeah, no intelligence. That's what it is. But anyways, girls, I am going to call it a night. I do look forward to seeing you all next week. And hopefully by then we'll have, you know, some much better camera footage, which is, I think, more important than worrying about fancy schmancy tripod things. Because a fancy schmancy tripod, try saying that 3 times fast, just simply wouldn't fix the issues we were having with the camera. So until then, have fun, and of course I'll keep you updated on all the baby news too, because I'm super excited about that. I'm going to, Zargo. I thought it was absolutely wonderful that, my nephew and his fiance both came to visit me, and they gave me the beautiful invitation, and knowing my situation, they even said, look, we'll come and pick you up on the day. So considering I only get out of the house here on average 30 times or less a year typically, I'm really looking forward to it. So it's going to be a great week. So everyone take care, have a good week. I'm so pleased to see you all. And hopefully by next week we can really start getting into this colouring thing and not have everybody getting seasick at the camera all the time. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Heather. I will go and have another look at that. Oh, thank you, Heather. Yeah, this is just, as I said, this is just a project I've been sort of picking at slowly. And I might only do one or two rocks. Oh, I might only do one or two rocks here or there. Like today we did like 4 rocks. Not terribly exciting. But I just love putting the dimension in there so everything... So like this looks like it's floating on top of everything else. And that's the part I get a kick out of, is making things look like they've got dimension. So we'll get to play with some of this sort of stuff once we get this up and rolling the way it ought to be. So yeah. Alrighty, girls. Well, you have a fantastic week, what's left of it, because it is hump day today. So we've still got a few days to go, but enjoy your weekend, because I know I'm going to enjoy mine. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Okay, cool. Awesome plans. Have fun. Okay, that's it. We're done. We're off. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Oh, apparently I haven't stopped streaming. That's just funny. Oh my god, how embarrassment. Now I need to learn how to edit.